about it. It's thinking about it. All right, here we go. We're live. Hey, folks. Thanks for tuning into the Banff podcast. This is our YouTube weekly pick where we try to be short and funny and talk about what we're into this week. With me today, we got Nick Garber from Apogee Comics. How you doing, Nick?
Good. How are you?
All right. We have Walt Rebillard, frequent co-host, owner of Hazard Studios. How you doing, Walt?
None of what you said was correct.
What?
Yeah, I'm kidding.
We have Walt Rebillard, salsa dancer and pastry chef.
Yeah, that's unbelievable, actually.
Yeah, and we have Aid Smith from the UK, owner of Mesozoic Press and frequent artist, co-host, and RPG writer for. God, you've got a huge resume these days. You're doing Star Trek Adventures, meeting some masterminds all over the place, Aid.
I did a few things here and there, yeah.
A modest man, as befits his English status. So, hey, why don't you go first? What are you into this week?
Okay, so I'm a little bit behind because my monthly parcels only arrive every 4 weeks, obviously, because they're monthly. So I have just received the very first issue of Marvel 2-in-1, which is the Fantastic Four book that's not the Fantastic Four book with the Thing and the Human Torch in it. And it's very, very good. I've actually got a Marvel book I actually give a crap about. It's amazing. So, yeah, very cool. The Thing has kind of been wandering around just getting lost and don't know what to do with himself. And Johnny Storm was apparently losing his powers and going a bit crazy and trying to push his limits. And Dr. Doom has turned up with a little gubbins that has basically said, "Oh, stole this from the Baxter building before it was taken over, or whatever. I've decided to give it back to you, Ben." And it's a little message from Reed that basically says, "Go back to the place we had our first adventure, and you'll find something there of interest." So off they go, and yeah, it's a really good book. It reads like a Fantastic Four book, like a Fantastic Four book should do, with only 2 of the 4 in it. But there is obviously mention of Reed and Sue and Valeria and the other little kid. I can't for the life of me remember his name is. Franklin, thank you. So yeah, so we are hoping now that obviously with the Fox and Disney deal coming and all the stuff creeping back over to Marvel Land, we may actually see a new Fantastic Four book come out of it. It's very, very good. That's my one pick. That's it. That's my one pick. I have other books. I will say. Let me just elaborate on a few other books that are particularly good. Batman issue 36 and 37, fantastic issues. Hardly a bad guy in sight, but effectively a cosplay issue with Superman dressing up as Batman and Batman dressing up as Superman, so they can go on a date together at a theme park.
That's the super funny. Yeah, that was pretty funny, actually. I like
very
that.
Good issues, really good. And Doomsday Clock #2. More DC Universe side of things of the Doomsday Clock stuff, with a potential possibility that Dr. Manhattan has been hiding amongst the DC Universe characters as another hero since he left elsewhere, left Watchmen Land. So yeah.
I really hope he was ambush bugged this whole time.
That'd be quite cool.
I would love that, but I'm sure they wouldn't do it like that. So,
no,
all right, cool.
I can't think of who it could possibly be. Some people said it could be Captain Atom, but apparently Captain Atom's powers have changed since the kind of like the original Charlton days. So whether or not it's somebody that's just there, whether or not it's just a hoax and it's just another potential red herring. But yeah, good book. Very cool. Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
All right, cool. Well, that's Aid's pick. Nick, what's your pick?
I just got done reading Deathstroke Volume 1, Gods of War. It was like during the beginning of Rebirth. So it takes place after Deathstroke's little appearance in the Suicide Squad. Really cool book. I'll just read you the synopsis because I'm trying to like put the comic to justice and give it right words, but they do a good job at the, on the store that sell it. So, talking about Slade Wilson, his entire life gets turned upside down. He comes back from this top secret mission, finds out he was in a mission that got wiped from his memory, and that's like something he said he would never do. And then, like, no, actually, you did this because the money was right. So and it kind of leads him through this family journey, actually.
Now, is this the graphic novel where he becomes a good guy, basically?
Yeah, good guy, anti-hero.
Okay.
He gets his youth restored, gets an eye back.
Are you only reading the trades? You've not read the individual issues?
I read the trade, yeah.
Yeah. The series is brilliant. You are gonna love. It's gonna get better and better. If you just pick it up trades, it's just gonna get better and better. There is so much good stuff coming up in that series. It's one that I was told about like 6 issues into it, and I went back and brought all 6 issues in one lump sum and just okay. And then from then on, buy every single issue since because it's so damn.
Well, I think I need to pick up the individual issues now just in case I ever run into Tony Daniel, and so I can get him to sign it.
He's the artist and the writer.
He's the artist and the writer for it. Yeah, and he did an amazing job. I was kind of a casual Deathstroke fan. I thought he was cool, had a cool look. I remember watching him on the original Teen Titans cartoon, things like that. This kind of solidified me a fan of his now, just like Deathstroke, and I just can't get enough. And it is really rare for a book to kind of do that too, for a character that's already been kind of known and been established, to introduce it in a new and exciting way and add a new dynamic to it where it's not stale or it's not something that you've heard before or read before. And then Tony Daniel's artwork is just phenomenal. I mean, I've studied his pages, study, because at least in the trade, you know, I love the little extras in trade. That's why I pick them up, is they'll put the black and whites, the pencil drawings in there, and I get to study his pencils. As a pencil artist, that's huge for me because now I have access to this quality top tier artist, you know, and see how he does things. And I just study those pages just like I did with Jim Lee or Jay Lee or any of those other guys who I've kind of not adapted, but been inspired and influenced by their styles to do.
I guess that makes sense. I hadn't thought about it, but if you're not an inker, it probably makes a lot more sense to study the pencils to see how, you know.
Right, and it shows some of the inks in there too. You know, like I said, that's what I like about trades. It'll give you that little behind the scenes, that like Blu-ray special edition type information, and it'll show the transition from thumbnails to roughs to pencil layouts to inks, and then like the coloring process, and you're just like, okay, cool, that's that, and it totally changes how it looks. Sometimes for the better, sometimes not so much, but yeah, it was a really good series. And apparently there's more, so now I gotta have something for the next time we do this. So I'm gonna go pick that up along with Alien Defiance, which Walt's gonna talk about.
Okay, Walt's pick, Alien Defiance, go.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to steal your thunder on the segue there. I just saw that as like the next thing I'm picking up, and I know Walt's talking about it because.
Hey, it was a organic segue, so I'm cool with it.
As opposed to the clue by 4 or the blunt force segue, which we normally do.
Yeah, usually we're just awkward and say, and now we change topics to the so it's all good, man. Nick, you're having a touch of class the show. I appreciate that.
Maybe I should wear glasses. I don't feel like I'm classing it up, but
get some glasses, a turtleneck, maybe some tweed jacket. You'd be all right.
Oh, like and a pipe too. I really wanted a pipe.
Now I want a pipe. Talk about aliens.
I was going to mention that you know, with all 4 of us on, you know, we make a complete refined person because Aid's got the accent too. So
this is true.
I also have the high top leatherback chair as well, and the fireplace. So full Masterpiece Theatre kind of look going on.
Right. Oh my God, we should do that one time. That and Mystery Science Theater 3000. So Alien Defiance. It's a 12-issue series. It follows the story of Corporal Zula Hicks, no relation, who is a former colonial Marine that gets severely injured. So because you know, budget cutbacks and stuff like that, and the VA in the future isn't any better than it is now, we see Zula is on pain management therapy. She's on physical therapy. So there's really not a lot that this young Marine can do when she's assigned to a team of synthetics, so all androids. And they're just going out doing cleanup operations and recovery operations on behalf of the infamous Weyland-Yutani Corporation. When, of course, aliens get introduced in the mix, and they realize that the company has been sending ships to these areas of potential infection to hopefully pick up one of these to weaponize it. And when she realizes what's going on, she starts getting torn between her duty to the Colonial Marine Corps, obeying her orders and stuff like that, and her duty as a person to not let these things end up on Earth because she sees how destructive they are. I really enjoyed the series because it did 2 things. I've been injured a lot, and I know Mike. Yeah, right. And I know Mike will identify with this as well because he suffered through a traumatic injury, and it goes through what kind of goes through your mind as a person who's been injured. Am I still good enough? Is my recovery good enough so that I can start functioning again?
Am I
will I ever be the same? Yeah, will I ever be the same person? The other thing I really enjoyed about this story is the synthetics. One of the synthetics decides, based on a logical assumption, that he needs to alter his programming in a certain way. And that allows him to function above the other synthetics in a way that is not normal for them at the time. And these are all combat androids, so they look kind of like, mannequins, right? So, but as the series goes on, you really get the sense that this one android is acting more like a person than he is a machine. And it just kind of shows that if this machine can get that level of humanity, that there might be still some hope for the rest of us, even though the douchebags at Weyland-Yutani are trying to screw everything up with these aliens. So it's a really fun series. I really enjoyed it. The artwork, it's very reminiscent of the artwork that Aid did in the White Box Black Ops product that he did about the Army Rangers. So it's got that nice crisp line weight that really makes everything pop, but it's almost got like a watercolor wash that's over it. Some of the scenes and camera angles, you can tell they studied a lot of the Fox camera shots that went into some of the Aliens movies, because some of them are just dramatic. There's a scene where a bunch of the androids just get dusted, and this one alien comes through the door, and he's all messed up from gunshots, and he's smoking because of the acid, and it's just, oh man, it's fantastic. So if you get a chance, it's on Comixology. It's from 2016, Dark Horse Comics, Alien Defiance. Can't recommend it enough. And the ending is the kind of ending you want from a story like this. So please pick it up.
Okay, I've got a couple of questions for you, Walt.
Sure.
So this is since we've had Prometheus introduced into the Aliens universe.
Yes, sir.
Did the comic books get rebooted and all the other previous stories gone? Because obviously Dark Horse have had the comics for a good long while, and I was under the assumption that since Prometheus was like a new frontier for the comics, they effectively said, right, all the Aliens vs Predator stuff, that's all gone. All the other stuff, that's all gone. Do you know if that's right? Or
their Alien and Predator stuff is still going, and it's fantastic. The Hunt just finished up, and that was really good. Blood War, I believe it was called. I got it on the shelf over there. I got a couple of them, where they did a huge crossover between Aliens, Prometheus, Predator, Aliens versus Predator, all in one massive crossover, and that was really good. I thought that was amazing. Where you get to see some like old fan favorites from the old AVP products that came in. I think her name is Yukio. She was one of the ones.
The Human Predator.
Yeah, in the third trade from them, she comes in and basically is drafted into the Colonial Marine Corps to say, hey, look, we need a liaison for this because we've never dealt with these. And if these things are real, and she's like, oh no, they're real. So, I mean, that's really cool. The story that Defiance doesn't really get into the Prometheus stuff. It looks like it takes place sometime after probably Alien 2. No, excuse me, Alien 3. The one when they were on the prison. Because Weyland-Yutani knows about these things, and they're actively like pushing ships toward those areas to say, hey, look, if you encounter some weird biologic, contain it or get a sample. Don't approach it, and we'll pay you for it. The problem is everybody's like, well, if they're going to pay this much for a small sample, what do they pay for a live thing? And these areas of infection are spreading up. So it really, I don't want to spoil too much. It's a neat story.
Cool.
So I mean, yeah, for the 12 issues, I was hooked on every issue. I bought 2 of them just to check them out, and then I went through and I bought the rest of the 12. So it was really, really
the other
good.
thing being, obviously, this could be another Disney Fox thing that falls from Dark Horse to Marvel, because obviously Disney now technically own Aliens. So I mean, this could leave Dark Horse, and Dark Horse have for like 20 odd years, haven't they? So it's crazy.
I would cry because I don't think Marvel could approach this level of storytelling with the depth that this series actually goes into. What's that?
Sorry, go on, Karen.
I like I said, the one of the things for me that really touched me was I've had to learn to basically try and get my balance again and walk several times. I've had a couple traumatic injuries, and seeing what this character goes through, not just in pain management, just trying to get through the day in mundane tasks, but to add the level of stress of, if I screw this up, we're going to get eaten. You know, that's it was a really neat take on a character that's had been broken and trying to convince herself that she's not broken. So I think I really fell in love with it. And when I bought the first 6, and then on Comixology you can just subscribe. So I subscribed to the rest and was hungrily devouring them every time they came out. So it was really good.
Okay, another odd question as well.
Yes.
Now you said that the character's called Hicks, but she's not a relation to Hicks from Aliens.
Correct.
Yeah. Why do writers do that? Don't you find that really odd? You've got all these surnames out of the entire universe. You go, I'll name it after the really famous character from Aliens. That's what I'll do. Because immediately just a strange thing. I always find it odd. I know I've seen it in other stuff where you think you've got all them surnames. It's like oh, we've called it. This is a new superhero. He's called something Wayne. You think so? He must be related to Batman. No, it's nothing to do with Batman. What do you mean? Well, you picked that name. That's crazy. They're very strange. Okay, that's cool.
yeah, no relation. Might be just a very common name. Because obviously from the second movie, you know, what was his name? Dwayne Hicks.
I believe that's right. Yes, that sounds right.
Dwayne Hicks.
Yes, Corporal. Hicks in the movie was a white guy.
Yes, exactly.
Middle 30s, and Zula, she's an African American who's in her early 20s.
Yeah, strange, isn't it?
You know, I mean, so I don't know, but like I said, the series was fantastic. I love the fact that the cast was kept small, so it was really wasn't a hard thing to get into, because you're only really following basically 2 people, and then the eventual inclusion of the company and stuff like that. But I mean, you're always wondering.
The aliens don't tend to chat much, do they? So you can
No.
don't have to worry about them. It's what their motivation is.
But yeah, if you get a chance, seriously, it's tight, and just you get that sense of dread, which you don't really get very often in a comic. You know, it's very hard to instill horror. We had the horror comic podcast about 3 years ago that we did, and it's difficult to instill that sense of dread in a comic, and I think they did a fantastic job. It's just going from page to page. You know, some of the pages you turn, and the next panel was like, oh, yep, somebody's gonna get eaten here. You know, so I mean, it's really good.
It's a hard trick to get that kind of a feeling, you know, off the printed page. But well, cool. Make sure to check it out.
Yeah, what'd you get?
What did I get? Well, I don't have a lot of time, so I'll keep it short and sweet. The Guardians of the Galaxy comic has been struggling, which is kind of weird because they got 2 hit movies, but the comic is actually kind of got stealth canceled. The issue that just came out, 150, is going to be the last one, and it's leading right into the Infinity Countdown, which is another one of these big events that everyone hates. And then I guess an Infinity Countdown goes into Infinity Countdown Adam Warlock and Infinity Countdown Prime. So there's various mini-series, which is all bullshit, but Guardians of the Galaxy has been really good lately. It's just been fun if you like the Marvel Cosmic stuff. The Guardians have joined the Nova Corps to help them get back. Rich Rider is back from the Cancerverse, and they do it in a bullshit way, but he's a great character and they're writing him well, so it's good to have him back. They're fighting the Fraternity of Raptors. If you remember from back when Dan Abnett was writing Cosmic Marvel, those guys are there. Ant-Man is on the Guardians right now, and he destroys a spaceship in this issue by changing to Giant Man while he's inside the ship. Which is just fun. Yeah, it's so yeah, it's just been a lot of fun. It's continuing some old plot lines from Marvel Cosmic that I liked, and he's writing the Guardians characters well. Shame's getting canceled. I mean, I understand they're doing it to go into one of these mini events they like to do with Marvel Cosmic occasionally. But
how many issues has Guardians actually been since they're renumbering? So it's like 6 or 7.
Not a lot. I mean, this is 150. I've only been reading it for maybe the last 5.
Yeah,
I heard it was good. I mean, I tried to pick it up a couple years back, and it was Bendis writing it, and I was like, "Well, fuck this shit." But yeah, it's,
I couldn't tell you the last time I picked up a Guardians book. I think it was around issues 1 through 10. Yondu was still in charge, and
back in the day.
Back in the day, with the shittiest artwork, B-list talent I've ever seen.
Marvel Cosmic generally gets a short shrift, or at least it used to back in the day.
Now it gets a little bit more attention, especially with Nova and some of their.
Was it Valentino?
Those titles.
Say what, Aid?
Valentino artwork back in the old Guardians.
Okay, well maybe I shouldn't call it shit over because Valentino's really good, but it just
it might not be because they did have a lot of fill-in issues back then as well. So
yeah, a lot of bullpen artists.
The
unsung heroes, key grips that were in there filling in artwork, and he was doing all
exactly. Yeah, you got a lot of unknowns. Yeah, they have the one that Excalibur, one of my favorite books as well. You got like 7 issues in. You think, what happened to him? Where's the gone? So these are not.
Yeah, there were some stellar pages in those books, but but anyway, that was the last time I picked up Guardians book, so I'm gonna add that to the list now.
Yeah, it's pretty good, and you can you're one and done. They're canceling the series, so yeah. And this is one where Adam Warlock comes back. Oh, and Ultron. God, everybody in this. Ultron has zombie bots now. So
yeah, but why wouldn't you have zombie bots?
If you would, I kind of want zombie bots too. So yeah. All right. So anyway,
Nick has 2 in his backyard.
Yeah, 2. That's greedy. All right. Yeah,
I'm a collector.
You're a collector. Okay. Matt said. All right, one's Stan Lee and one's Jack Kirby. Just leave them some blank pages and hopefully something happens. That's
Hope for some magic.
Yeah. Hey, Nick, I just went to rageofrazor.com and there's a picture of you there looking very dapper with a gold tie.
Yes, that was me filming the video for the Bengali Kickstarter where I was doing my best Todd McFarlane impersonation.
Oh, cool.
Nice. Being a huge Spawn a fan back in the day, especially the cartoon. I remember Todd used to do these introductions before the cartoon would kick off, and it was very dark and gothic. And I was like, man, that'd be really cool because it really fits kind of like the theme, But I was going to be over the top about it to just, like a nod to Todd and Image during the day that I was blatantly ripping them off. So,
did you hear that they're doing a new Spawn animated series?
I haven't heard about the series. I did hear that Todd is in. He's very active in getting the Spawn reboot movie off the ground. He just finished the script, and I guess he's directing it too.
Okay, yeah. Here's what I heard about it. It was the movie, and apparently, I mean, it's development, so who the hell knows? But the rumor is that Spawn won't have any lines in the movie.
Well, what the fuck?
That's creepy.
Yeah, let me.
I mean, it's creepy, but I mean, he talks in the comic book. I mean, he's very. Yeah. He's a man of few words. He's a Clint Eastwood of the comic superhero horror genre, but he still talks.
Well, anything could happen. It's still development. It's just rumors, but I just send you the link from bloodydisgusting.com. It's there in the chat window. So yeah, you can check it out, see what you think.
Yeah, because one of the things I heard that they were going to get David Keith to come back and voice Spawn in the movie, since Spawn was going to be all CGI.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, if William Shatner's not available.
Or Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf. Just do it!
Oh, God. My wife was... I left her alone with the boy this weekend. And I try not to do that because I came home and they had a marathon of all the Michael Bay Transformers movies.
Oh, no.
I was like, why'd you do that? He's 4. He's impressionable. She's like, it's fine. It's just cars fighting. Nothing wrong. And then he looks at me and my sweet little 4-year-old boy says, Daddy, Bumblebee peed on that man.
Damn right he did. And he's getting a prequel movie.
He is getting a prequel movie. So
what?
Yeah, they're giving Bumblebee a prequel movie.
As a bug. As a VW bug.
Because no one wants to make a sequel because they really did some weird shit in the last Transformers movie.
They just got progressively weirder.
Now the entire like Earth is Unicron. I don't even know anymore. It's weird, but
like the series ended for me after 2. So
yeah, my wife's forced me to see all of them in the theater, and I insist on going to a theater that serves alcohol so I can have a couple of drinks and fall asleep.
Oh, aren't those the best?
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, our mission for this podcast is to be short and fun. We've run for about half an hour, so I think we're going to wrap it up. Abe, Nick, Walt, thanks for coming out, guys. It was a good time.
Always, man. Love to be here.
And thanks to our listeners, and we'll catch you next time on the Banff Podcast.